Okay, say hi to your cats for us. Oh, what's with the neighbors?
Oh, have you checked in on your neighbors lately?
Is that what I say?
Yep.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Have you checked on the neighbors lately? That's not what I say.
Yes, that is what you say.
No.
For Rizzle.
No way. Have you checked in on the neighbors lately? That doesn't
What's with
sound
the
right. That
neighbors?
doesn't sound authentic. Have you checked in on the neighbors?
What's with the neighbors?
No, that's not what I say. Hi guys.
Hi, everybody.
We finally made it.
So ignore all the rumors. We have not broken up. You know, we've gotten so many fan mail saying, "Oh my God, what happened?"
Like people asking us to like come back,
Yeah,
like people offering to pay for therapy for Bri and I, like to,
yeah. They're like, "Man, I
couples
look forward to
counseling.
you every Sunday.
Mhm.
Like, where are you guys at? What's going on? Are you okay?" They heard that Amy got scabies and like all this other stuff, and none of the rumors are true.
None of them. No, we've just been, like we've said, we've just been so freaking busy.
Yeah, and every time we have
And
a chance, our schedules like don't line up,
no, or an emergency happens.
or we've
So
been like deathly sick. It's just been
yeah,
a really busy. Like, has it been like a month
a
and a
month and a
half?
half. Yeah. So like there was a month where Bri and I were both sick. Like she got super sick and then I got super sick. And then it was like a half of a month of just trying to line up our schedules.
Yep.
So it's been not fun. Like
Yep.
even yesterday, we were supposed to record yesterday, and I was like, I gotta go out to look at the house because I need to make sure the paint is the right color.
Because
And
Amy's moving into a new house.
moving into a new house. So yeah, we bought a house finally, and we are renovating it right now. So not living in it. Not yet. We will though.
You're getting there. You're getting
What
there.
have you been up to, Bri? I just told you what I've been up to.
Honestly, we are done with gymnastics season. Gymnastics season is the competition season is over, so we will not have to be traveling anymore. So that'll be nice. So things will
That will
start slowing
be
down for me.
yes.
We've been like completely like tearing up our yard to try to make it nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, just doing a lot of yard work right now. Oh man, do I have time to tell my story about that hotel real quick? I'll try to make
Yeah,
it
go
quick. Okay. So, on the last meet that we went to Huntsville, and I booked a hotel through Wyndham because I get my Wyndham points, and I'm like, I'm gonna get my free hotel room
yes.
eventually. I still haven't gotten it yet. So I stupidly did not look at reviews, but I paid way more for this hotel than I have for any of the other ones. So I'm like, okay, this is bound to be a decent hotel. So we
Right.
get there, and right when we walk in the door, the whole place smells like marijuana. Whatever, cool, fine. I was like, someone probably just walked through here who smelled
Right.
like, and it probably just smells like it. It's fine, whatever. Get into the elevator, it smells like marijuana. Then we get to our room on the second floor and open the door, and this place looks danky as hell. And our window on the second floor has like a little seating area where you can, like a bench where you can
Yeah.
go up, like be right level with the window. Window's wide open, no
Oh,
screen, and of course that's where my children run. And I'm like, "Oh no, no,
no.
no,
No, no, no, no, no.
lawsuit."
Yeah.
And don't stay at this hotel, guys.
No.
I'll tell you which one it is later. But anyway, um, that happened, and our smoke detector was unplugged, and the AC was on full blast, and it was just really sketchy. So we leave to go to dinner. Yeah, we're still staying there, by the way.
Right.
Um,
Well, what are you gonna do? Book
because
another
I already
hotel?
paid
Yeah.
for it, and they're
Yeah.
probably not gonna give me my money back. So
Yeah.
might as well just suffer through it. So we go get our food, which service sucked, but we came back and our curtains were closed, which weren't
Did you eat
before.
at the hotel?
No, we ate at Cracker Barrel,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
we had a server who was on his first day, and he did
Oh
terrible.
no.
Yeah. Um,
Poor
he did
guy.
awful. He made Charlotte cry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Poor
Because he brought her chocolate chip pancakes. instead of pancakes with strawberries on them.
Oh my Lord.
Um, but anyway, when we get back, the curtains were closed and the room smelled like marijuana, like the hotel had whenever we walked in. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody's been in our room. Holy crap,
Yeah.
what the
Because
heck?
you aired out the room before you
Yeah, the room
left.
had
Yeah.
been aired out. It did not smell like it at all. And so we air it out again and we're kind of nervous and checking around, making sure there's no cameras and all this other stuff, make
Right.
sure our doors lock properly. And so in the middle of the night, we're super paranoid and we kept on getting like random whiffs of marijuana. Like it would go away and then it would come back. Like someone
Yeah.
was like right in there with us smoking it. And then at one
That's
point
insane.
in the middle of the night, I have my eyes open. I swear I did. And I'm looking at the ceiling and I can see a fire alarm flashing, like red flashing. And I couldn't move and I had sleep paralysis. And I'm like sitting there trying to wake up and trying to wake up and trying to like tell Josh, we need to get out of here. There's a fire alarm going off. And then I guess I actually came out of it and there was no fire alarm there. So I
That's
had sleep
creepy.
paralysis.
That's so creepy.
This place was so weird, and when I got on the elevator was, like, 3 years expired from being inspected. They had it, like,
Oh,
displayed right there. Yeah. This
oh
place
my
was
gosh.
it's the Microtel Inn and Suites by Wyndham in Huntsville, Alabama. Do not stay there. I already gave them a terrible review. Do not stay there. They have all terrible reviews
I'm
and all the same
surprised.
experiences as mine.
I'm really surprised Wyndham has not
Why would
disassociated themselves with them.
Yeah, I know. Why would they put their name on that? Like, I've
Yeah.
never stayed at a crappier, worse hotel, especially through Wyndham. Like, they usually
Yeah.
have decent,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, that
Ugh,
was long, but
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
it's been my
That's
couple weeks.
crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I told you that we bought a house. That's an update. But here's our other update.
Amy's
No way.
pregnant.
Say hi. And
Can
we
you
got another. Ew, don't put your tongue in my mouth. We got another
Amy got a
corgi.
boyfriend. Don't put your tongue in my mouth.
We got another corgi, and her name is Jenny. Say hi.
Oh, that was
She's
cute.
she's really quiet,
I
and
heard her little nose.
oh, you did?
Yeah.
She's quiet.
She's so cute.
She's the sweetest little thing in the whole wide world.
Hi, Janae.
Jenny.
Love you,
She
Janae.
she wants to get down and go play with Wilson, so I'm gonna text Alice to come get her.
Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah. Come get Jenny, please.
So
So,
that's our lives lately in a nutshell.
yep, pretty much. And we got goats.
Oh, yeah. Amy got goats.
I got goats. Alice named one Theodore, and I had another one, and we named him Joey. But then Rick said he wanted to name one Lieutenant Dan, which I was like, okay.
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Because, like, we were like, oh, another, like, supporting character of a Tom Hanks movie. Not that we're, like, huge Tom
Amy is
Hanks
obsessed
fan.
with Tom Hanks.
Not really. No, I was like, you can't have two from the same movie. That's weird.
It's good, though.
But it's whatever. I don't
Can name
really
one of
care.
them Woody.
Close my door, please.
Wait.
No, we would name him Buzz.
Is Tom Hanks? Okay. Yeah.
Because Tom Hanks
Yeah,
is
was Buzz.
Woody. Was no.
Yeah, Tim Allen was Buzz. Tom Hanks was Woody.
Yeah, so we would name him Buzz.
You don't want to name him after his
no,
character?
because supporting characters.
Oh, supporting characters. Oh, yeah, Wilson the Ball was not actually
Right.
that was not played by Tom Hanks.
Yeah. And then Jenny
such
was
a mix-up.
Sorry.
I always forget Wilson's just a ball.
I don't even know what that guy's name is. I don't remember in the movie.
I don't either.
But I was like, you could name him like there's so many. But no, let's whatever. Anyways, I digress. Okay. So who's going first this week?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Okay. Yep. All right, I have a teeny bit of lengthy neighborhood story.
Okay.
It is from Reddit, and it says "Revenge on Neighbor from Hell."
Oh.
Backstory: we have a neighbor who's been petty over everything, getting mad over grass clippings on the sidewalk before we had a chance to clean them up, from my husband's truck being parked backwards. We live on a dead end road. My kid's ball accidentally going over his fence. You name it, he's mad. He comes out screaming, throwing F bombs and crabby at the world. One day, he came out mad because my husband put our van close to the mailboxes, but still the legal limit away. Mind you, every week he puts his trash cans directly in front of them. Anyway, he didn't like that my husband said they were fine. Called the cops on us, having our truck backwards on our dead end road. Cops showed up and told us to turn our truck around and get petty.
Oh.
This happened a couple months ago. Cue the revenge tonight. Neighbor came
Okay.
out complaining about husband's truck being backwards, so he promptly parked it on the side of the yard next to his house. Then took some stakes, put them in the yard, and tied ribbon around them. The guy's motion detector security cameras were sending alerts like crazy. It's always one day where we live. Tonight, he shut them off. Absolutely nothing he can do. I was like, that is some serious,
That's
like,
some
shady revenge right there. That's like, wow.
but also just be nicer. It's not hard to be nice.
It's like it makes me think of Jim on The Office where he, like, slowly, like, puts coins
Yes.
into Dwight's phone
Yeah.
and then takes them all out and Dwight smacks himself in the face. It's like
Yes. I love stuff like
I
that.
do too. It's cute.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So this week I wrote this story like a month and a half
Our
ago.
stories have been written for a hot minute, guys.
So we're gonna get through this together. But what's funny is when I wrote this story, there was more that I wanted to add, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow." But then I never did. So the stuff that I add, which will be towards the end, I'm just going off of memory.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
So, okay, so I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna tell you about the staircase. Now,
Okay.
when this came out on, I believe it was Netflix, it was like the talk of the town. Like everyone was talking about it, but that was a couple years ago. And you know how I don't like to do news stories
Right.
because um I kind of like wait until like the excitement is has gone down.
Yeah, she doesn't
Um
like lots of views on our show when
no, I
something is
don't.
hyped up.
Yep. Actually, that's makes a really good point actually.
I know.
Why didn't you ever say that?
I feel like I have. Like, "Ooh, a Ted Bundy documentary is coming out. Maybe you should talk about Ted Bundy this week."
But you never made it a point
Gabby
like
Gabby Petito. Is it It's Petito, it's not potato. I always wanna say
potato.
potato.
Petito, I always do too. I could talk about Gabby Petito, but it's already kind of already gone down.
True, true, true. Alright.
Okay. So, uh anyway, so it can't this came out before we did our podcast, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but anyways, so Kathleen Hunt was born on February 21st, 1953, in Greensboro, North Carolina. She was an engineer who graduated at the top of her class from Duke University. She was actually the first. I just realized I don't have my water in here. She was actually the first woman to be accepted into the engineering program at Duke University, and she earned a master's degree there.
What up?
Yeah, so she went on to work at Nortel Networks in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, as an executive. She was well liked by everyone in her community. She married Fred Atwater in 1977, and they had one daughter together. Things started to fizzle out and they ended up getting a divorce in 1985. Then she met a man through her daughter's school named Michael Peterson. And like at this time, like when she met him, she was like, I'm not like trying to date. But then she met Michael. Um, so I'm going to tell you about Michael now.
Okay.
Michael was born on October 23rd, 1943, near Nashville, Tennessee. His father was a military officer, so to pass time while traveling, he became an avid reader and a big fan of Ernest Hemingway. He wanted to be a celebrated novelist in the same manner as Ernest Hemingway. He graduated from Duke University in 1965 and he got an analyst job. He was like a government think tank. He was just like he worked for the government and he was just like a little thinker for them.
Okay.
His research led him to strongly favor the Vietnam War, and shortly after, he enlisted in the Marines. He saw combat in Vietnam and earned a Purple Heart. He returned back to the US and he became a government consultant and married his first wife, Patricia. They had 2 children together and they moved overseas to Germany. There, he and his wife became close with a friend of his wife's. She was a widowed neighbor named Elizabeth Ratcliffe. And so, unfortunately, in 1985, she died from falling down the stairs and it was ruled as an accident. Like she just like fell down the stairs and when they showed up, like the coroner showed up and he's like, "Oh, she just tripped and fell."
That sucks.
Yeah, especially
What a shitty way to
because
go.
yeah, and she was already a widow. So what
You
happens?
think the right step do you think they took the right steps with, examining the body?
I don't know. I don't know because
Steps?
stop it. Someone died, Bri. So, Michael ultimately became the guardian of Elizabeth's children because they were close with her. Well, they were close with Elizabeth and like they didn't have anybody, so he like fostered them and ended up becoming their guardian.
Okay.
In 1983, the this time he wrote a novel called The Immortal Dragon, which became a bestseller. He His second novel called A Time of War, A Bitter Peace also scored success. From those 2 novels, he earned a lot of money. This is when him and his wife's Patricia's divorce started to fizzle out. Um and in 1987, they end up getting a divorce. Michael ends up leaving without his 2 sons that he had with Patricia. He just left them. The boys stayed in Germany with their mother, and Michael moved back to North Carolina with his 2 newly adopted daughters.
That's messed up. I
I
mean
mean,
I mean, it's pretty typical for
for the
the
mom to keep
mom.
the kids, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was the sole parent of the 2 girls, which is really
It's
weird
really
to
weird.
me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he took the 2 adopted daughters and his 2 biological sons stayed behind. While continuing his novel career, he also worked at the local newspaper writing an opinion column. Eventually, the 2 boys did move back to the US and moved in with him. But it's just, I don't know how old they were at that point.
Okay.
So now we are where Kathleen and Michael meet. So we know both their backgrounds now.
Okay.
So they had
Caught
a
up.
lot. Yep, they had a lot in common, and they just clicked. They fell in love, and their relationship seemed idyllic. Like people were just like loving this love affair. Like they just loved it for them. Um, they were both active in uh, the community. Shortly after, they asked all the girls how they felt because she had one girl and then he had the 2 adopted girls. They asked the girls how they felt about Kathleen and their friend Kathleen's daughter, Caitlin, how they felt about them moving in together. So, like, they sat the girls down. They're like, okay, you guys are like best friends. How do you feel about us all having like one big slumber party? And that's what they ended up calling it, was like a never ending sleepover. They were super excited about it. In 1996, Michael and Kathleen finally got married. They raised their new Brady Bunch family in a 9,000 square mansion
Oh my
in
gosh.
in
What?
Durham, North Carolina. It's a very large
Durham.
home. Oh, Durham. Thank you. I have it typed as Durham.
I only know that because that's like that's near where Matt lives.
Oh, Durham. Okay. I'm probably just mistyped it. The family was perfect. They were loved by everyone. Their love story was perfect. The family story was perfect. A blended family. This man adopted 2 girls after his friend died. Like, how
Can we start the 80s sitcom?
yeah, like, how perfect is this family? Until December 9th, 2001, Michael called 911 at 2:40 a.m. He said he found his wife at the bottom of a staircase.
Oh.
They had
Oh, the
they
turntables.
the turntable. They
Actually,
had
no.
they had 2 staircases. He found her at the bottom of the back staircase. This staircase, I would like to call it like the maid staircase. Like, it was like this staircase. It was like smaller, it was more confined. Like, it was like older homes had like a maid staircase, and it was like so that they could like easily
Like in
get
the kitchen.
yeah, and get to the second story without being seen, you know?
Right.
Um, so he found her at the bottom of the staircase. The 911 call is copyrighted, so I can't play it for you, but I'm going to explain it to you. It's short. So Michael sounds panicked and he doesn't seem to hear the dispatcher. And it's been like debated whether he can actually hear the dispatcher or if it's because he didn't want to answer her questions. But he keeps saying, please come right away. Please come right away. My wife has fallen down the stairs. The dispatcher asks him how many stairs she has fallen down. He takes a while to answer her, but eventually he says, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20. I don't know, just get here right away. But like the dispatcher kept like asking other questions, blah, 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 blah. And he was just like ignoring her.
Okay.
So Michael's son, you remember his 2 sons that
Yep.
had moved back. Michael's son, Todd, was at a friend's house. Michael calls his son, and Todd ends up getting there before the first responders ended up getting there. And when the first responders do get there, they were shocked. There was an incredible amount of blood everywhere for a body that had fallen downstairs. It was all over the walls, all over the staircase, like up on the ceiling, all over the landing where she was laying. They rushed her to the hospital, but she was pronounced dead.
Yeah, like usually it'd probably just be like from like the nose or the ears or just head
Ye-
trauma, right?
Yeah, you would think like if you fall down the stairs, like
I
you
would
might
think
not
so.
even have blood,
Yeah, yeah. They
depending
just hit
on,
your head so hard in the right spot or
yeah,
broke your neck.
or broke your neck. Right. So this was immediately suspicious because she didn't fall from the top of the stairs. So the amount of blood was suspicious, like we were just saying. Michael said they had the perfect day. They watched a movie that night and relaxed by the pool. And, they had a couple drinks and they talked. Um, and then Kathleen decided to go inside. It is 2 a.m. at that time. Michael is by the pool alone. He's smoking a pipe. He heads in around 2:40 a.m. when he stumbled upon her body. So investigators did find a bottle of wine, so that checked out that they had a couple drinks by the pool, but they couldn't get past the sheer amount of blood, and the more they questioned him, the more suspicious the case became. So they started collecting evidence to build a case against Michael. In December 20th, 2001, they ended up having enough evidence to charge him with her murder. And this was totally shocking to everyone that knew him because he's such a good guy
Of
and he
course.
was loved and his kids were shocked, and Michael also was shocked that anyone could think that he could kill his wife.
Like the second wife who fell down the stairs.
No, this is the
He
first
would
wife that fell
never.
down this.
I
His
thought
the
his
other
I thought his
No,
last wife.
that was a friend.
Oh, that was his friend. Okay, well,
Yes.
someone in his presence fell down some stairs and died
But nobody knew about that friend except for the
because
daughters.
it was overseas, right?
Yeah.
So different, like not in our jurisdiction.
Right. But it was just his daughters that knew about it.
Right.
But you're not gonna like that was ruled an accident. So
Right.
um and it was the daughters that found her.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So blah, blah, blah. Um so he was released on a $850,000 bond, and he had to give up his possessions, his wallet, his car, his passport. He wasn't allowed to leave the state. So really like he was kind of like on house arrest. After this, Michael made a public announcement. He said, "Kathleen was my heart. She was my life, yada yada yada," and claimed his innocence. The public was torn. A lot of people believed Michael, but there wasn't a lot of evidence that was public knowledge yet. So the trial was set for July 2003. A lot of friends and family publicly supported Michael, including his own children. Even his ex wife, Patricia, she was friends of Kathleen's. And she even said, "I support Michael." So Michael's defense attorney took the approach that Kathleen mixed alcohol and Valium, which caused her to be extremely dizzy, and she actually wasn't going down the stairs, that she was actually going up the stairs just a few steps, and the staircase was very dark, which it was, and it was not well lit. And she had flip-flops on, and she actually fell several times, getting up and falling and getting up and falling again, and hit her head multiple times.
Oh my gosh.
So they brought in a blood spatter analyst who this was controversial. He had been an expert witness in several high profile cases. He said the amount of blood at the scene was irrelevant, that the blood from her multiple head injuries or that all the blood was because of the multiple head injuries hitting it multiple times, and she also coughed up blood. And he did something super odd during the trial. He brought out ketchup and put it in his he put it in his mouth, which would make me just gag. Just raw ketchup in your mouth with
Dude,
nothing.
I
Ugh.
love ketchup.
I'm not a big fan of ketchup unless it's like on ketchup or hamburgers or hot dogs or something, but ugh. And so he puts it in his mouth, and he shows the jury what blood spatter would look like if you were to cough it up. Like he had it like a little cardboard. He was like, do you think he coughed like how toddlers cough? Like right in your mouth.
This guy did not use the vampire cough.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so he imitates that. And a lot of people didn't like this. They thought it was disrespectful and not very scientific in the courtroom. I don't know what's more scientific than putting ketchup in your mouth and showing people how blood is coughed up.
Oh,
That's
that's
as
hilarious.
scientific as it gets. So the prosecution did not agree with any of this argument, obviously. Her injuries showed several lacerations, like cuts on her face and the back of her head, but she did not show any bruising, like the defense wounds.
Right.
There was no defense wounds.
Okay.
When the blood tox came back, it showed her level at 0.07 levels,
Okay.
which is almost the legal limit. The autopsy report, which, I mean, that's quite a bit of alcohol. So I could understand like falling down the stairs from alcohol.
Yeah.
The autopsy report showed that she had 8 deep lacerations on the top, front, and back of her head,
Oh my
likely from a
gosh.
rigid object. She also had a fracture of her thyroid and collarbone, and the autopsy said was likely from strangulation.
Oh my gosh.
Also, when first responders arrived, most of the blood from Kathleen had been completely dried, like it was not wet. But the neurons from her brain were active for about 90 to 2 hours before she died. So she was just like laying there.
Oh my gosh, that sucks.
And yes, Michael was outside smoking the pipe, so maybe it did have time to dry. But Michael's argument was that he was only out there for about 40 minutes before he went inside. So did he go inside and just like avoid that staircase for that amount of time
Right?
for it to dry? So I don't know. The medical examiner ruled Kathleen's death as a homicide. That's why we're here in court. The prosecution believed that the injuries could have been from a blow poke that they had for the fireplace, but the defense argued that there was no way she could have died from being beaten to death because no one's ever died from being beaten to death.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
However, the autopsy was just the beginning of the evidence, Bri. The prosecution wanted to discredit Michael's ability to tell the truth, and this is how they did it. So in 1999, Michael ran for mayor and lost terribly. He was like terrible, like just completely
That sucks.
obliterated,
Yeah. Obliterated.
obliterated. Am I
Yeah.
obliterate?
Nope. Not a blib.
Obliterated.
I think it's obliterated.
I don't know. Anyways, he lost terribly. One of the reasons why he lost was because he lied to people. He told everyone that he was awarded Purple Hearts in Vietnam for shrapnel metal from a shrapnel injury, and he had this whole story about it. Made up this whole story. Turns out it was all made up. According to the military records, he was awarded a Silver Star and a Bronze with Valor. But
Wow.
right there in
What a thing
court,
to lie about.
I know.
What a
So
dick.
right there in court, it was proven that he's willing to lie. Like he was willing to lie to become mayor and say he had a Purple Heart. What else is he willing to lie about?
Yeah. And a
And
multiple people.
yeah, and in court, Michael admitted he would lie because it made things easier, which is odd
Well,
because
yeah, but you're still not supposed to do it.
no, but sometimes it's easier to tell the truth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but why lie about a Purple Heart?
Yeah. Like, why don't you just
You,
be
you
yourself?
just be yourself. Um. Anyways, the prosecution needed to show Michael lied about that night. They brought up the wine glasses that they were out and they were supposedly used by him and Kathleen. They were actually never touched by Kathleen there because there was no fingerprints of hers on the wine glass that Kathleen
Oh.
supposedly used, which is crazy because like it's a wine glass. So it's going to have her fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
So unless he brought the wine glasses out and set them down by the chairs to stage it.
Right.
I don't know. So they also brought in their own blood spatter analysis, and he used not ketchup, he used mustard in the court. No, I'm just kidding. um, but he said that the blood spatter on the walls were from someone lifting a blunt force object over and over again. So like you put like something in water and like you bring it up and like
Yeah,
the
right,
water
and it
comes up with it.
slings.
Yeah, it slings
Okay.
up. Yeah, so that's kind of like they were saying that something was doing that over and over again, and that's how the blood was spattered upward.
Okay.
So next, they needed to prove why he would want to murder his wife, whom he loved so much. So, to start, they dropped a big bombshell for everyone. They said Michael was bisexual and was having an affair on Kathleen.
Oh, that's a big old bomb.
Yep, they discovered over 2,000 photos of men on his computer, and they also found a conversation between Michael and a young male sex worker named Brent Wolgamott.
Whoa.
Wolgamott.
Whoa.
They they actually brought him in to testify, and and they had been, according to Brett Brent, they had been in a companionship for about 4 months, and it had all been online, but there was plans to meet up. And apparently the night of her death, he had gotten on Michael's computer, or she, Kathleen, had gotten on Michael's computer just a few hours before. This wasn't something she usually does, but she had to prep for a conference call the next morning. So she asked to use his computer and get his password. And so who knows what she might have seen on the computer. And not only that, but Michael had actually printed out pages of conversations with the sex worker of when and where they were going to meet. Like, I don't know why he did that. That's kind of odd to me because, like, can't you just like put it in your calendar? But
Yeah,
I don't know. Um, I don't know.
old people.
And old people and what they were going oh and what they were going to do was printed out and he put them in his desk drawer, so she could have easily found it that night if she was at the computer and she like opened up the desk drawer to get a pen or something and she saw it.
Yeah.
So she could have seen the photos, she could have seen these printed out conversations. So they theorized that she found all the evidence that night and she came to him angry. And they got into a fight and it got violent and eventually murdered her and staged her to fall down the bottom of the stairs.
Oh.
Michael claimed his wife, the defense claimed his wife knew about his sexuality and she was okay with it. And the defense argued, why would he print out conversations and leave them in a desk for her to find it if he was hiding all of this? Which is a good
Okay.
point. Why
Yeah.
would you be comfortable with her going on the computer if you knew about
Right.
those things? But unless you think that she's dumb and isn't going to find it,
Yeah.
I don't know. So the next motive they introduced was their financial situation. The prosecution presented the couple were in $143,000 in debt and they were in a big financial trouble. Kathleen's salary was only $140,000 a year.
Damn.
Only, I know, only back in the early 2000s.
But, like,
Um,
that's your debt.
yeah, pretty much. Um, and she was slotted for a layoff, and Michael's writing career was next to nothing. He then it, or next to nothing. And then it turns out their sons, Michael and Patricia's son, were also in debt. And there were emails between Michael and Patricia is his ex-wife, that their son's debt, about their son's debt, and he asked Patricia to keep it a secret from Kathleen.
Oh,
But also, like,
okay.
your son's debt is your son's debt. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, unless like he felt obligated to pay his son's
Yeah,
debt. I
exactly.
don't know.
Why is that your problem?
I don't know what the debt was. Maybe it was school loans. And like maybe you said that you would pay for your kid's school loan, but I don't know. So it turns out Kathleen had a huge life insurance policy, and the whopping amount of this is odd to me, $1,834,166.80.
Oh my gosh.
But also, I
That's a
don't know.
lot of money.
But why is there a cent percentage? That's weird to me.
I have no idea. But,
I don't
like,
know.
is that typical for life insurance policies to be that high?
Yeah, I mean they can be.
Holy cow.
Depends on how much you pay for them a month.
Oh my gosh.
You can have it. You can 5 million, 8 million, 10 million, whatever you want. It's
Hot
what you're willing
damn,
to
that's a
pay.
lot of money.
It is. It's just what you're willing to pay monthly for it or yearly for it. So, or maybe it was something that her work offered.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, but of course, he got that payout, and or he wanted to get that payout of her life insurance, and so he had to make it look like an accident. They said that he got this idea from their friend Elizabeth back in Germany when she died from an accident falling down the stairs.
So he copycatted a real death.
You think?
Okay.
So
I feel bad for making that joke earlier about Elizabeth.
Elizabeth's sister Blair actually called the authorities when she found out about Kathleen's death, because she said that there was a lot of similarities between the two deaths. According to Elizabeth's sister, Blair, Elizabeth and her daughters had dinner at Patricia's and Michael's home, and Michael actually walked them home afterwards. And then he was seen by another neighbor that night running from her house. And the next morning, Elizabeth was found at the bottom of the staircase, just like Kathleen.
Oh.
And she was found by the girl's nanny. Sorry, not the girls. She was found by the girl's nanny. Earlier, I said by the girls.
That's less traumatizing.
Yeah.
That's less
Traumatizing?
traumatic. It's less traumatic. Words are hard.
um, so she also had lacerations that looked just like Kathleen's. Weeks prior to Elizabeth's death, she had been suffering from pretty severe headaches. So that's why the medical examiner concluded that she had intractable intraarterial head hemorrhage, brain hemorrhage. That's what it was, brain hemorrhage.
There we go.
And that caused her to collapse and fall down the stairs. So her death was investigated by the German and US military police, and at the time, no one suspected homicide because she'd been having these headaches. And no one knew he was at the house earlier that night. In the police reports, it was not noted there was a lot of blood also. But according to Blair, Elizabeth's sister, she said that there was blood everywhere. She said she looked up at and one of the walls, she said she is almost 6 feet tall, and she reached her hand up and it was above her hand. So like
Damn.
that's super high up
Yeah.
for a fall. And
Yeah.
she said, how does blood get that high up? They even brought in a person that cleaned the crime scene to verify how much blood was everywhere. And if you put a photo of Elizabeth and Kathleen's together, they look extremely similar. Like both of them, they look alike. Like he has a type.
Okay.
So in this whole Elizabeth story coming out, people started to change their opinions on Michael. This was a big turning point in the case. The prosecutors actually exhumed Elizabeth's body, although she died in Germany. She was buried in Texas. And they did another autopsy on her. And the conclusion came back that Elizabeth's death was actually a homicide, Bri.
Dude, that's crazy.
I know. Michael was never charged with her death, but they used it as an argument in Kathleen's death that Michael did it once and got away with it. So he used it as a blueprint to get away with it with Kathleen's death. So One thing the prosecution needed was the murder weapon. How this murder happened. They needed to figure it out. Of course, they already suggested that it could have been a blowpoke, and the blowpoke happened to show up, Bri, because before they couldn't find the blowpoke. The defense actually brought the blowpoke out in court. The defense had it. And turns out the son found the blowpoke in the garage, which was odd because they searched that entire garage of the house. They searched everything during their search warrant. They searched everything multiple times during the investigation and never saw this blowpoke, unless it was never there in the first place. But then he brought it back after they did the search.
Right.
So they did a forensic testing on it, and the thing was covered in spider webs, and it showed it had not been used in years. This was a big blow for the prosecution. Things were not going great for them, and the jury started to not like the prosecution. The jury said that they had acted unprofessional several times, and it seemed as if it became a sport for them to win rather than to get justice.
I'm sorry, but how are they unprofessional when there was ketchup used?
I don't know, Bri. I'm just telling the story.
That was the most unprofessional thing ever.
That's
And also tasty and delicious. And they should have brought hot dogs.
I
Anyway.
mean, I would have some corn dogs.
He should have really made, like, a show of it and, like, brought, like, some corn dogs and some fries and been like, "Here, have some of these while I show you this example."
Oh, and then he just takes the cardboard and, like, puts it down for them to dip it in
Yeah,
afterwards.
or he
Yeah.
coughs the ketchup all over their food.
Oh my god. No way. So, they were like, this is a bit more of a sport for the prosecution than it is for them to get justice. And another thing that the prosecution did is like they would cheer after certain testing was done, which was
Oh.
kind of odd. They were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we got it." And like, "No, don't do that." So during the trial, the jury was brought out to the Petersons' house to see the staircase, the pool, and the distance between the pool and the staircase. The trial went on for 3 months. During the deliberation, it was determined that the blowpoke was not the murder weapon. They did not consider Elizabeth's death during the deciding of the verdict on Kathleen. Like when you when closings are done and they're like, okay, time for the jury to go back for deliberation, they're given what's called jury instructions. And jury instructions, they say, like, this is the charges that the person is being questioned on. You cannot consider the blowpoke a murder weapon. You cannot consider Elizabeth's death while deciding the verdict on Kathleen's death. There's like different things that you have to consider or not consider. And it's just like they're called jury instructions, and they're just like rules that they have to go by when determining the verdict.
Right.
So that was the thing. They said, don't consider the blowpoke, don't consider Elizabeth's death, blah, 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 blah. But finally, on October 10th, 2003, the verdict was in. Michael was found guilty of first-degree murder.
Damn
Rightfully so.
straight.
He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Michael and his daughters were devastated by this news. From the beginning of the trial to the end of the trial, Michael lost a lot of his supporters. Kathleen's daughter, Michael's stepdaughter, after reading the autopsy report, she just knew there was no way that the injuries were caused by falling down the stairs. In one of the reports, it was stated that some of the blood that was smeared, it looked like somebody tried to wipe up the blood, but they like ended up giving up. Michael still claimed that he was innocent. He started with the appeal process immediately, but it was denied. And in 2008, Michael hired new attorneys for the appeal process for a new trial, questioning mostly the testimony of Dwayne Deaver, who was the blood spatter analysis. This motion was denied in 2009. But this was picked up by the court and the questioning around Dwayne Dweaver. They started questioning his lack of experience in the press and the tactics used in trial. Not Bri, not the guy that spat blood or spat ketchup.
But the guy who
Not
actually, like, professionally did it, probably correct.
correct. They were questioning him.
Wow.
And the attorney general actually opened up an investigation on Dwayne Dweaver in 2010. And he found that Dwayne and other agents would help prosecutions get convictions by mispresenting or suppressing evidence in over 34 cases in a 16-year period. So he was fired in 2011.
The
So
guy who didn't do the ketchup?
correct. He was found, him and some of his other agents were found to like lie
Right.
about things in court. And so he was fired.
That doesn't make them look good.
No. So Michael's previously attorney that worked on the original trial stepped back in, and he even worked his case pro bono because he believed so strongly that Michael was innocent. When they brought the case back to the judge determined because of that incident with Dwayne, Michael did not get a fair trial. And they actually made the decision to release Michael to house arrest on December 16th, 2011 on a $300,000 bail. And a lot of this is filmed in the documentary, The Staircase. Apparently, he was close to the director, and a lot of it was filmed about Michael's life on house arrest. It was focused on the girls, and how sad they were that he was locked up again. The documentary doesn't go into a whole lot of details of the actual case or about Michael mourning his wife. So, but the new trial was set on May of 2017, but they never made it to trial because Michael accepted an Alford plea. What is an Alford plea? Well, it's not very common, but it means you're accepting that there's enough evidence to convict you, but you are also maintaining your innocence at the same time. Which doesn't make sense to me.
So, like, you're not gonna do it again? Like, you're being a good boy?
Yeah, like basically, yeah, there's enough evidence for you to like take me to trial and convict me, but I didn't do it.
Okay.
Isn't that like how all pleas are? Well,
Yeah,
no, a
like,
plea
so then
a,
why aren't you just not guilty?
a plea is you're saying that you're guilty. That's part of being taking a plea deal, but like isn't that like all trials?
So I
I don't
guess
know.
it's like you're they're saying that you're innocent, but you just look guilty because of the
Yeah.
evidence.
Right. Anyways, so February of 2017, he pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to a maximum of 86 months in prison. But Michael already served 89 months and was released on time served. And today,
No.
Michael's a free man.
What? Where does he live?
Mhm. North Carolina?
Still?
I don't know.
What'd you say? Durham?
Michael Peterson now.
I gotta warn my brother. Just kidding.
Uh, Durham, North Carolina.
What? That's wild.
That's crazy. Crazy girl.
Damn.
Mhm.
Hide your
Sorry it
hide
was so
your
long.
don't marry Michael and get a house with stairs.
Oof. One story only. Ranch,
Yeah.
please. Ranch house.
Ranch house.
Ketchup house.
Hidden Valley. Nice.
Sorry it
Oh,
was long, but
no, it's good. That was a good one. That was really good. What is it called? The Staircase?
it's called The Staircase. So there's like there was a documentary that came out, and then there's also a like reenactment movie that came out about it. I forgot
Love a good
who's in it.
reenactment.
I know.
Cool. Thank you. That was a good
Welcome.
one. Good job. See,
All right,
guys,
let me.
it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
All right, and you did good telling it too. Your delivery was very good.
Oh no! Wait, hold on. I have to tell you about the owl.
Oh yeah, I was. Oh yeah, why do you have the owl there?
Okay, so there was a theory. There was lots of different theories that came out about like how she died. I am going off of memory from when I watched the documentary like years ago. There was a theory that an owl flew into their house and it like kind of attacked her, causing her to fall down the stairs.
Well, owls tend to do that on occasion. We have an owl outside of our house that I hear often, and I get scared sometimes that that's going to happen.
That it's gonna fly into your house
Yeah, so I
and
have to
attack you.
like make sure I close my door quick.
That makes sense.
It's ridiculous. Why? Did they have like big windows or something?
I
Or
don't remember. I'm like clearly I'm not clearly. I'm solely going off of memory. Okay, so AI says the owl theory in the case of Kathleen Peterson's death, the staircase says that she was attacked by a barred owl, leading to her injuries and ends up falling down the stairs rather than a homicide. So, and I guess it came from Larry Pollard, a neighbor of the Petersons, suggesting that Kathleen was attacked by the owl either in the front yard or inside the house, which caused her. So I guess there's evidence for it. So he claims that the wounds on Kathleen's head are consistent with those inflicted by owls' talons and beak, and the blood trail found outside the house from the front door frame and was part of the evidence, as if like the owl like flew outside of the house afterwards and like left a trace of blood everywhere.
there was
And then
there
he
was blood
also,
outside?
I guess I didn't know that.
Okay.
Um He also said that there's microscopic owl feathers that were found in Kathleen's hands and that a twig was found in dried blood on her body.
Okay. Okay.
I don't
All
believe it.
right. All right. The
Okay.
the owl did it.
Okay, tell me your story. I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
You're good. All right. So I'm going to tell you about the Tiedemann house in Cleveland, Ohio.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You've never been there
This
before.
I don't think I have. I know. I was like, where's a state that I am not like super done anything with? And I couldn't think of anything in Ohio. So, all right. So, the Tiedemann House stands as a testament of the city's rich and varied history. The iconic
Okay.
structure, a beautiful example of Victorian Gothic architecture, was built in the late 19th century by a wealthy German immigrant named Heinz Tiedemann.
Okay.
Haynes Tiedemann, being a prominent figure in Cleveland's business community, constructed
Oh.
the house in 1881. Why am I getting a southern accent? It's Ohio. Anyway.
I was picking up more of like a 50s accent.
Oh, okay. There we go. Oh, wait, wrong time. So, anyway,
Oh,
he intended it to be a home for his family with no
you're still
expenses,
doing it.
and no expenses was were spared. All right, we're just going to drop the accent. All right, so he intended it to be a home for his family, and no expenses were spared in its design and construction. So the house featured intricate woodwork, stained glass windows, and stunning stone masonry that made it one of the most impressive homes in the area. I believe it has like 20 rooms.
Jeez.
One of the rooms being a ballroom. I
As
wish
you
I could tell
casually have
you.
in your house.
I know, like let's go dance in the ballroom. I wish I could tell you how much it was, but I could not find it, and yeah, nothing said how much it was. So I
Okay.
would love to give you that answer. Sounds like it was very expensive though. We're just gonna say it's a
Just
lot of monies.
chump change.
Lots of monies. Chump change. Despite its grandeur, the Tiedemann house was also the site of several personal tragedies. Not my
Oh.
personal tragedies, but, Tiedemann. So, over the years, Haynes and his wife, Louise, suffered the loss of multiple children. At 15 years old, he lost his daughter, Emma, to complications with diabetes.
Oh,
Haynes'
that's sad.
mother, Becca, who also lived with them, passed just weeks later after this. Within 3 years, the family lost three more children, one being an infant. Okay, so I also did my story several weeks ago. So I'm gonna kind of jump around a little bit because this story started out being a really, really small story, and then I kept on finding more and more details and just throwing them wherever I thought they were fit. So
Okay. That's fine.
yeah. Okay. So Haynes also started building secret halls and tunnels in the home at some point in this
Oh,
time, which was kind of weird. Rumors started that maybe the deaths that were all happening weren't so coincidental and that Haynes could have something to do with that.
that
Did
doesn't
we
sound
just turn
good.
this into a true crime story?
Oh.
Legend has it he had a bad temper and built the tunnels as a place to escape to.
Oh, that's smart.
An Another rumor talks about Tiedemann's 13-year-old niece, who he claimed she was insane, so he hanged her in the tunnels. But others say
Oh.
Tiedemann caught her in bed with one of his grandsons and
Oh.
killed her. So
Okay. So I'm guessing his niece was older.
she was 13.
I'm trying to decide if it was justifiable.
Their family, so no, it's not justifiable. That's disgusting.
No, 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 not her sleeping, him killing her.
Oh, no, no, never, because you should never murder people.
But like, I'm trying to like, okay, so she was 13. Was she raping the grandson or was it consensual? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you're saying. I have no idea though. It was a rumor. So there was nothing, no proof to it. No, like, this is just like the town talking.
Don't hang people in your
And we don't even
place,
know if
your
that actually
tunnels.
happened. We don't even know if he actually killed her.
Where did she go though?
Well, she died,
Yeah,
but
but
we don't know how
how?
she died. I don't know.
I don't like it.
In 1895, Mrs. Tiedemann passed, and the home was then sold a year later. So lots of people have died in this house. After Haynes Tiedemann's death, the house changed hands several times and served various purposes. The Mulhauser family were the first to purchase the home after the Tiedemans, and things were pretty normal for 25 years. That family then sold it to a German socialist party, like Nazis.
That's what I just thought about.
Yep. The home was publicly said to be a culture center between 1921 to 1968, but residents didn't believe this. Spies were rumored, to meet and get assignments here, with assassinations planned and rumored to be executed on site. And some believed experiments were being performed on humans by a doctor who had rented space in the castle at this time. Yes, they referred to it as a castle.
I believe all those rumors.
I know, I want to. Um, according to another rumor, 12 baby corpses were found in a secret room that were experimented on. Yeah,
Ew.
ew. In around 1968, the home was purchased by the Romano family. They had an interesting time living here. While renovating, they sent their 4-year-old upstairs to play, and later while on, they came down to ask for cookies. When sorry, while renovating, they sent their 4 children upstairs to play while they were renovating, and then they came down to ask for cookies. When
Okay.
they got them, they asked for an additional cookie for the sad girl crying upstairs. The
Oh,
family supposedly performed an exorcism right away after moving in. Then they sold it in 1974 to a Sam Mosche Moscatello.
okay.
Moscatello. I did, like, the fists and everything.
Mostello.
Moscatello.
Mostacello.
Then in the 80s, The next owner was the final husband of Judy Garland,
Who's that?
Michael DeFunco. Judy Garland was that Dorothy from Wizard of Oz?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So her final husband, the final guy, who made some renovations and used the building for holding events and parties.
Mhm.
The current owner, Oh Dear Productions, a foreign LLC, has had the property since 2011, and they kept the manor private, not open to the public. Also, somewhere I believe in the 1980s, a woman who lived in the home who was a medium was saying the Tiedemann spirit told her he had a hand in killing his family.
Oh.
Some believe he hanged his illegitimate daughter in the attic. This could also be the story relating back to his niece that I had
Oh
already
my
mentioned. He could have
gosh.
said that she was his niece when she was his
Right.
illegitimate daughter. However,
That's
most
sad.
believe that these were merely just rumors. But interestingly enough, in 1975, they found very old bones in the walls in the
Oh,
home. Yeah.
no, 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 no.
And I believe they were infant. Um,
Oh, no.
in 1999, a homeless man set the house on fire
Oh,
because he said it was evil.
yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
and that's all I got on history. Sorry again that it's kind of sporadic.
That's okay.
So, on paranormal, we have obviously disembodied voices. We have some poltergeist activity going on,
Oh,
violent attacks, emotional changes, sounds of footsteps, clinking sounds of clinking glasses,
that's
turning
fun.
on lights on and
Nope.
off, hearing
Nah.
babies crying in the walls,
No!
sightings of a woman in black seen in the tower room. And
Not in
at
white.
one point, people had claimed to hear a woman suffocating and choking in that area, like, like
Oh,
that.
from this from being hung.
Yeah. A resident of the home in the 1980s claimed to almost be pushed down the stairs. That
Oh
same
my
resident
gosh.
also claimed to catching what sounded like a man screaming at a child in the home.
No, that's really sad.
So there's an episode of Ghost Adventures on this house, which was
Uh-huh.
really good. And during the setup, they had heard some banging, which was it like they hadn't even had the equipment out yet, but they heard lots of banging during setup.
Wow.
That was just like to warm them up. But during it, Aaron, which we're thinking about you, Aaron, with Ghost Adventures. If
Poor
everybody else
guy.
has seen the news,
Poor
poor
guy.
guy. Um, he said before they had come there, he had had a dream about a psychic woman talking to him while he was in the house the night before doing the investigation. And remember, I told you about the psychic woman's like, or the woman who was a medium talking to
Yeah.
ghosts.
Yeah.
Apparently, other people have had weird dreams about the home similar to that
Oh.
thing as well. And my favorite thing that happened on the episode was during one of the scenes, they were in obviously all the lights were out, but you could see like a window in the background
Uh-huh.
and you see this tall, like 8 foot tall figure, like a shadow go across
No.
the window. So the thing is that the window, you couldn't have reached the window because of where it was at. And they went outside and looked. Amy, it did not look like a person. It looked like a fucking alien.
No.
Yeah, it looked like an alien, like how you would imagine, like, a cartoon alien to look,
Like a
like, slowly went
bobblehead.
by back yeah, went back and forth for a second, and it looked like a freaking alien, and they got it so clear on camera, it was
No
really
way.
cool. It was really
No
cool.
way. Mm-mm. No way.
Even though this isn't really open to the public, I did find a couple of little reviews on, like, Reddit.
Mhm.
So this one was from 2 years ago, and it said, "Went to the best Halloween party ever at Franklin Castle back in the late 80s." They called it Franklin
Oh.
Castle, when it was owned by Mickey DeFinco. Haunted? I see drunk people.
What?
That one was just funny.
That's cute.
This one says, "Spent a lot of time there. I'm close to the woman who owned it when the fire occurred. Actually,
Oh,
I'm the idiot who
1999.
I'm the idiot who told her it was for sale since I lived a few houses away at the time.
Oh.
Haunted? I don't know. I'm not much of a believer in ghosts, but there was one room that was off and creepy. Yeah, like a lot of Mickey DeFranco's decor was on the creepy side. I'm talking to you fully mirrored showers with seating in a hot tub room with peepholes and a secret door.
That
We
is
use so much bleach.
ugh.
So not really haunted stuff. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty creepy.
And this
Imagine
last one,
imagine taking a shower and you can see all 4
I
sides of you.
I don't wanna see any bit of me while I'm showering. It's bad enough that I have to open my shower and I see myself in the mirror right there, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Ew,
Ugh.
it's you again."
Everywhere I look, there you are.
Hello. This last one says, "My girlfriend and I stayed there last March for the tour and overnight stay," which is really confusing because a lot of places said that it's not open to the public.
Huh.
When we sat on
Maybe
the
it's like a
couch,
private tour?
possibly, or maybe at one point it was.
Mhm.
When we sat on the couch for the introduction, there was odd knocking coming from upstairs. When he took us and the other couple to the tour, there was weird noises. However, after the tour around 9 p.m., we got free roam all night until we passed out at 5 a.m.
Oh, it's like a
Nothing
sleepover.
Nothing unusual or weird leading to, however, the basement gave us peculiar feelings. I just booked it March 8th and 9th for an anniversary night stay. I will update then. Hey babe, you know what sounds romantic? Poltergeist.
Ro
Mirrored bathrooms,
ro
mirrored showers.
uh, the romance is alive. Like,
Watch
oh my gosh.
well, you don't even have to light the candles yourselves.
They just
The
turn
spirits
on.
will.
The spirits will. Oh, I don't think I could do that for an anniversary.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't sleep. That
No.
hotel that we stayed in already freaked me out enough, so,
Oh,
you know,
seriously,
yeah.
Brie.
As of
That's
today, the Tiedemann
terrifying.
House is a beloved landmark in Cleveland, attracting history enthusiasts, architecture buffs, and those intrigued by its haunted reputation. The house stands as a reminder of the city's storied past and the enduring legacy of Haynes Tiedemann. Did he kill his family? I don't know,
I
but
think he did.
it's fun to think about. But so on the documentary, you can tell, or on Ghost Adventures, they were like, obviously they were leading to like him being a murderer and killed all
Right.
his family and like this terrible person. And the guy who like owned the house, who like knows like the historian, he's like, no, he's actually a really good man. Like everybody said he was a nice man, and there's no way he did that. And it's they're like, no, but he really did. Could he be a murderer? Like,
And
did he kill them?
the
And
owner's
he's like,
like, "No."
nope, he's not. He's nice. He's a good guy. Trust me.
Yeah, but so is Michael Peterson.
I know that's all I'm thinking about now that I've been reading this whole story is Michael Peterson. Damn it.
He did it.
So that was the Tiedemann House in Cleveland, Ohio.
That was good, Brie.
Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Thanks.
That was I really liked that one. I wish it was open to the public, though.
It was a fun one. It might be. I might be wrong. I don't know. I like I said, I was jumping through year after year after year. I thought this was going to be such a short, like no juicy kind of story, and I got so much information. Once I found out about all these rumors, I was like, "Oh shit, I have to look into this and this and this and this." And I just started
Those
throwing
are the
them in
best type
places.
those are the best type of
They
stories.
are. They are.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you wanna hear my neighborhood story?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm not gonna apologize how long this was, you guys, because you deserved it. So this is just a photo, and it was posted by BBC News, and the photo it says, "Bowl of peeled bananas appears in street again," like, as if it's like a news story.
They're peeled too, so they just look like a bunch of like wieners.
Like, why
Hey. Amy, it's bananas. You love
Oh
bananas.
my gosh.
You know what it is? You know
What?
what it is? It's Mario. It's
Where's
Mario.
Mario?
He's getting ready for Mario Kart so we can throw them at people.
Those are banana peels. Oh,
Yeah,
he has the banana peels. I get it.
he didn't wanna waste the bananas.
I mean,
He
so
can
you
only
put them
eat
out.
so many of them.
But I think it's funny. I don't remember where I got that from. I mean, it's posted by BBC News, but I think it's funny that it's like a news
Yeah,
article. Like,
that made the news.
like it's
Banana not
ah,
bandit is out again.
the bowl of peeled bananas. Who is it?
Damn it, damn you.
Ah. So thank you, you guys. We are not positive on how the next couple months are going to go. So just bear with us. We should have a regular episode this like next 2 weeks, right?
I don't know. That's up to you, Home Slice. Amy has got a lot going on with her new house,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to figure out my life with this house, so
Yeah, we just got a couple things going on. So just bear with us on how the scheduling is going to work.
it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month. You'll just be surprised when an episode comes out,
What's with
but
the neighbors?
ignore the rumors. Me and Amy talk every single day. We love each other. I love you, Amy. I
I
love you,
love you,
bestie.
my best friend. Have you checked on the neighbors?
What's with the neighbors?
Brittany,
You and Amy out.
out. Say hi to your cats for us.
Insert cat meow.
Meow. I need to go eat. I'm very hungry.
Yes, you do. I need to go to bed. I love you, buddy.
I love you.
What's with